morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. I hope you're well, hope you're safe and healthy with your loved ones or with your coworkers, maybe. Maybe your coworkers are your loved ones. Let's say that that's the case. I am rock, paper, water. We are painting an Andean Condor today. We're going to do a little warm up, a little sketchbook warm up. I'm going to sketch with this pen. It's a Lamy All-Star. And the reason I'm picking this is because this was the pen I gifted to my mother, I would say 5 years or so ago. Let's say 4 or 5 years ago. And she loved to journal. She loved to write down recipes. I got her this and she used it every day. When she passed, however, I stopped using it. I found it. I thought I lost it and I put it to the side, put it up on a bookcase, kind of, I guess, a little bit of a shrine that we had going on. But recently I thought, I don't think she'd want me to keep it there on the side. I think there's something nice about using it. I modified it a little bit. This had a silver clip. I had a another Lamy that had the black clip and came loose or whatever. So I removed that chrome steel looking clip and I put the black one and then I replaced the steel nib, the plain silver steel nib with this. Let's see if we can get it. This camera's not that great. This lens. This is a black, what they call charcoal nib. So it looks kind of nice together. And I have filled it. One of the reasons that that inspired me is Amazon, our overlord, our overlord Amazon, had some kind of deal days or whatever a couple days ago. And they had this Waterman Serenity Blue on sale. I got this for $6. $6. This is a tried and true classic fountain pen ink. It used to be called Florida Blue. They changed the name to Serenity Blue. And it is a writer's journal or journaler's ink. I tested it today in my planner. Really nice with the Lamy. And I thought maybe it would be really good to try this sketching and see how it goes and see how it shades, how it reacts to water, and also warm up because I need to warm up. I need to warm up, everyone. Interesting. Very super gestural. Can't really erase. We could add water, which is always good. Have that one there. It's got a little rock real quick. And then we'll do the same one over here. A little neater. I guess we can say it's a little neater. A little neater pen drawing. That is just about, has this big, cool looking collar. Looks like a collar. We'll make this a cube. It feels a little dry. The ink with this charcoal nib feels a little dry. It feels kind of like a pencil. There are some fountain pen nibs and ink combinations that feel that way. But I like already how it responds. It's pretty fast. Worked pretty fast and it responded well. That's always good. We want that so we can build momentum. Don't have to really slow down if we don't want to, which I like. I like that a lot. And that's the other white. We have about 3 layers, black, white with a little bit of black, and then the same thing. All those, the primary and secondary and the tips of the covert feathers are all white, but inside it's all black. So a good pen and ink study. I know this is blue, okay, but remember I say a whole bunch of times there's no such thing as black or white. There is no spoon. I said this before. That's it. Feet are basically squares. Feet are basically squares. And you know what? I'm gonna go add some water right now. See how this is. Look at that. Boom. Already get some nice. Oh, look at that bleed. That is nice. That is nice. I like this. I like this already. Waterman Serenity Blue. You are a classic that I did not think of using in the past, and now I believe you and I will be friends for a while. Yeah, this might be the ink that I use in my planner every day. This very well may be this may be it. You may be my everyday all-purpose pen, my friend. Pen ink. And I love how you work in my mom's pen, her journaling pen. That makes me happy. clean this a little bit, lightly here and there, show that there's some those feathers there. There's a little bit here, a little bit there, fuzz over here, and then I could even just kind of bleed it out to give it like, so it blends into the atmosphere. It's not this silhouette. It, it's part of its surroundings. It's one of the things I try to do. It's part of the surroundings. I exaggerated. The tail feathers really don't go that way, but I am going to do it that way. It's my drawing. I could do as I like. I will do something on this side now. As that dries, what's nice about sketchbooking, you just kind of go back and forth. I am a big proponent of going back and forth that way. Keeps you moving, and your eye sort of focused in different areas. Keeps you sharp. It's a good way to warm up. I don't like to stay so rigid, or I don't know what the word is. I don't know. Let's go. We use the reverse end here, and I'm going to kind of block out where this is. Similar to if I had doing a watercolor painting, that it was going to be a longer piece maybe. I have to say, we did a loose drawing for the painting from Monday, that watercolor sketch, I'll call it, the watercolor sketch. And I have to say, it had a nice look to it. The feathers had a great look to them. And really would like to build on that momentum from Monday. I'm painting a lot more. I paint a lot in class. In my Wednesday class, I really love that. Paint as much as possible, make as many paintings as possible. Wing and flight, I like them facing each other. And so reverse is pretty good. On the reverse end, obviously you're away from the feeder. This is the feeder of the pen right in there. So we're drawing on the reverse side, which does not have that ink. We're just using the leftover ink that's from the bottom. So you could see a lot of ink came down, which is good. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Try and get this maybe a little bigger here. Maybe a little bigger there. The big thing here is the wings. I want the head to look a little smaller so we could really exaggerate how big these things are. When I saw this at the zoo, oh my goodness, those wings are impressive. And there was one that was pretty chill, and there was another one that was like, just was not having it. It was all like, you gotta go. I don't know where you came from. I don't know who you are, but get out of here. And I hung out for a little bit, but then I respected its wishes, and I got out. I left our friend here. Super fun. I do love painting birds. Sometimes I want to break, but I do love painting them. Other than that, I paint a lot. I painted the figure a whole lot yesterday. Oof. Pose after pose, really fast. Really, really fast. This whole area here is dark. And we have that whole area is dark here. All right, let's see how quickly this dried. And if it's going to allow us to get a little bit. There we go. There. Come down in here. This dried pretty quickly. It's all right. And this is pretty wet. So that's pretty wet. Flick here and there. Flick there. And in here, we'll lay out some water there. I have my coffee right next to my water. A very, very amateur move. And I just can't find another place to put it. So I may be drinking. I may love this Florida blue, this Serenity blue a whole lot more since I am drinking. It has a ballpoint pen blue to it. And I kind of like that. Like the Bic ballpoint pen blue. I like that a lot. I do. All right, let's add just a little bit of blue here. That's a white feather there. These are not that dark. I have to remember that. The tail feathers aren't quite as dark. Might be because of the light a little bit, but same thing here. There is no absolute light. There is no spoon. Bring it over a little bit. There we go. Give it a little atmosphere too. We're here. Just a little bit of atmosphere. To remember, I spent too much time on the head and I really focused on details that weren't there. It got very sloppy looking, and the head just shouldn't be that big of a deal. Not the way I made it. We're not drawing every single wrinkle, just the basic area so that we know what we're looking at, and that's it. Not otherwise it overpowers and it takes away from the rest of the painting. And the wings are a big thing. I mean, the wings are the biggest part of this bird. Obviously, it's got to soar pretty far. It's got to soar pretty far. So we have that overall shape that looks good. Now, as this dries, this is dry. I can go back here. This is smooth. So when you have a smooth surface, watercolor ink is going to dry faster than when you have a little bit of tooth. That needs a little time to soak in. This is kind of repelling the water, so it has nowhere else to go. It just dries on the surface. They both have a different look. Let's get back to it. Let's see, my friend. We just mentioned that we're not going to pay a lot of attention to the head. We're just going to give a few details right here. That's a dark. And then right there, it's a good idea not to have completed lines. Just have them break up a little bit. And there, that's it. That is it. That's all we need. That's it. I'm telling this to myself. Reminding myself this is all that's needed for the head, especially when it's something, unless it's a really, really big close up, like a portrait, a proper portrait. This is there. Actually, what I'm going to do is really go heavy on the ink. Then I could do this inside the shape and there. Nice flip down. Again, this shouldn't be a big thing. I'm going to drop a little bit of blue here so that those feathers, those floofy feathers, calling them floofy feathers, they have a little bit of a drop shadow there. Pretty nice, right? That looks all right. I know. Everyone's like, where's the watercolor? I came here for watercolor. Paint, monkey, paint. Well, we got to warm up a little bit first. I am not a morning person. I am a mid-afternoon person, everyone. Okay, let's lay this in. So get that wet. There you go. So nice how this bleeds. I could do this all day with this pen, folks. I am very tempted to forget our a little agreement and go wild with this pen. Oh, so nice. This is so nice. This ink, using my mom's journaling pen. A little feather here and there, that one there, and yeah, we have this here. Down here, we need a nice coat of, actually what I'm going to do is watch, let's try this. Wet it first, it bleeds out first, and there we go. It bleeds out pretty nice. I like that a lot. Get that here, and then in here, I'm just going to slowly let the ink bleed. So nice, so nice. Wet and wet technique again. There's some things that aren't quite there, but I'm taking liberties myself. Legs are a lot longer, and again, don't have to do too much. At least with the sketch, don't go crazy. Don't go crazy. There, this has to be a little dark. I'm going to grab this pen, and we are going to just do a little shadow here for the rock, and I'll leave that as is. It's a sketch. We'll move on to this one here. Move back. Oh, wow, that's interesting. There's a little, I see what's going on. So this pen, the converter had a purple ink that she was using. I gave her that purple ink. She really liked it. It's one of her favorite colors. And I think I can see on these reverse lines that I did, there was still a little bit of that purple ink in there. But I have to say, it really does look like how a ballpoint pen, a cheap ballpoint pen, might react and start ghosting a little bit and have that little violet to it. So I like it. A lot of fun. All right, same thing with our friend here of really careful. Don't overdo it. There, we'll leave it like that. We don't need to do anything else at all. White highlight on that edge of that wing, which is good because it gives a nice dimension and separation. And those there. And let's just do a little hatch. Just going to touch that area. I'm not gonna, so that we still see some of that hatch, those hatch lines. So I'm not wiping it. I'm not doing touching the mark right there. Same thing. We'll do the same thing on this side, but I want to, we have to bleed this down. There we go. Bleeding area. I want it a little darker. That's like the absolute darkest there. So we'll just do a light touch in the wet area so it bleeds, gives a nice tone and texture. I love sketching with fountain pens and water and an ink wash. Really nice. So much fun. Let's go right with it. Doesn't bleed that much. Then combine here. And that's it. Bleed in this negative shape there around that little highlight. Since this is further from us, like that too. It should blur a little bit, right? Because this wing is further away from us. So there should be a little bit of blur there. This is a good way to work out watercolor pieces because you're obviously, you're using the brush and just blocking things out, doing a value study. I find that helpful. That's why I like to do it. I know, I promised you all watercolor. I swear we are painting watercolor today in this stream. Area of dark right there. This whole thing right here is going to be dark as well. I'm going to pull it, whole big shape. It's one shape, one dark shape there. It's nice, one area, same thing here. We're going to make it absolute black because that would be good right there. This little bottom area of that white. Remember, there's no absolute white. No such thing as absolute white or absolute black. There's color in both. And if you don't want to think about it in color, think about it in temperature. Warm temperature and cold temperature. Where's the warm and the cold here? I'm going to wet it here. Big drop shadow there. There. Another set of feathers. Get that nice and bold, this one here, because this is closer to us. It's closer to us. Wow, look at that. Look at that. That's fun. We have our Halloweeny music. Halloweeny music. While this is wet, and do the same thing we did there. Lay down some tone. Gotta slow down here. The one thing you have to keep in mind with the doing wet and wet with the pen nib is that it does suck out a lot of ink. So you may find yourself running out of ink a little quicker. I want to obliterate the whole line there. That'll be it for those there. All right. It's fun looking sketch. Work that. This one here. Really exaggerate that line. Comes separates from everything else. There are some black shapes in here. Same thing here. Let's just add some lines. Doesn't have to be exact. Want it to have some energy. It's something I've noticed. I have to be careful of. Having paintings start to get too stiff. So I don't want that to happen. Fun. That is fun, everyone. Hope you think so. I definitely think so. All right. Couple little sketches here and there. Perfect. Let's get a little bit of atmosphere here. That's sky effect, right? There we go. 2 sketches. 2 nice little sketches, right? Little quick studies. You can do a little more on this one, maybe. All right, now, what do you think? I think it looks pretty good to me. Want something a little darker, right? Want a few darker darks. I don't know if this counts as Inktober. It is ink and it is October. So we'll call it Inktober. A few spots of dark there. Bleed, that bleed, let that bleed. Those 2 sections of dark. Darks. Thing over here. Gives it a little more dimension, Dark, that down there. Bleeds in here. This definitely has to go pretty dark. That and those tail feathers there. Yeah, I know. These feet look a little rough. It doesn't have to look perfect. It really doesn't. But definitely that area there. It's a little hatch along those tail feathers there going dark. Here, same thing. Oh, that's too bad. It won't, the pen won't bleed if there's like a puddle there. That it won't do. Smooth that. Sure how we're doing. It's whisper time. See, there's too much water there. Just gonna work in a little bit of this right there underneath here. And see, that's all you need. That's all we need. We'll lift up a little bit of this dark, this water. Too much. So I just wiped off the pen, the brush, dried the brush, and then just lay it down and the brush will draw out that water. Brushes are designed, watercolor brushes, they want water. So if you use something pretty dry against a puddle, it'll do that. It'll suck up all the water like a sponge attached to a vacuum cleaner. Pretty close. Have our darkest dark. There. Nice separation there. Nice separation here. A little feather there. Always draw the feathers on the edges or where they turn. Everything else you really don't need to do. Draw out every single feather. It doesn't, at least in my opinion, doesn't look good. Could do a little dry brush here and there. Tone right under there. Drop shadow. And here. A lot more dark going on in here. Separate those feathers there. And sure there. Very nice, very nice. Love, love, love this. I can't believe I've gone this long with fountain pens. So you know I really love fountain pens. I can't believe I've gone this long without trying the classic Serenity Blue from Waterman. This is an absolute classic. It was the pen ink, fountain pen ink of elegance. Use this for special messages. Really nice. Letter writing, perfect for journal writing. All right, that's it now for real. All right, we're done. For real, we're done. That's it. No more. Give a little bit more if we aren't completely done. But there, bring out that head, right? Nice and dark. There, another layer. Since we can't make pen thicker, the ink thicker, it's going to be always kind of a glaze effect. So to do that, to get it really thick down, you have to add just the pen line straight when it dries and hatch it. Solve that with hatching. Okay, and we'll just do our dry brush to indicate this is a rock right there. Done, done. All right, let's add another layer of dark over here too to make it give a little more drama. I think flickered there. I am going to change this lens later. It has not been behaving. A little more coffee before I dip my brush in it. You'll know. You'll know if I dip my brush. You'll know. You will absolutely know. So here, maybe what I'll do is just go straight hatching. I'm going to end up having to fill this pen again. I'm using Converter, which is little gadget device add-on. I'll show you. It draws out the ink from the bottle so you don't use a cartridge. You can see it right there. Take this in the ink bottle, twist, and it pulls out the ink into this area here. And that way you could use whatever ink you want. Pretty fancy. Pretty fancy. The Lamy All-Star always lines up really nicely when you twist it. The Safaris don't do that as much. Again, definitely have to make sure that this is our darkest dark. Get this organic shape going here. It's not so less boring. There. Bleed out. Hit it right there. Kind of want to see how those turn out, those hatch marks when they bleed. A little more definition there. Same thing here. We want it to be dark. A lot darker. More contrast. A little wet and wet. Just the same thing with our brush. Nice and damp. Just hit it right on top. Not really wiping away. Doing any kind of brush strokes and just leaving it in place, but letting it bleed out a little more so I can achieve a better dark and leave some of those hatch marks in place. Give it some fun definition, detail here. Good exercise on brush control, all those fun things, all those good stuff. That good stuff. This has to be way darker in here, at least here. We'll do that first and to bring out that nice edge right there. Same thing here. This one I'm going to pull it, the water, see how that water is bleeding down, help guide it all the way down. It's going to move no matter what you do. So you may as well guide it along and then just see it go wherever it wants to go and go across areas you don't want it to. All right, nice. 2 decent sketches. Feeling good. Just reading about, I like all these productivity forums. A little too much, I think sometimes. I don't read those books anymore because they're not productive. Ironically, productivity books are not productive. And there was a discussion on one of these forums about the saying, eat the frog. If you don't know, eat the frog means that first thing in the morning, first thing in the day, you do the absolute hardest thing. Get it out of the way. Done. And if that was a good idea, is that good advice? Or is it better advice to set yourself up, do a couple quick things, finish a couple quick things, easy things to get it out of the way? And I feel like that's the better approach, for me at least. I know everybody has their opinion, but I think that's the better approach. Because by doing that, clearing out 2, 3, doesn't have to be a lot, 2, 3 tasks that are got messed up here, right? Getting out of the way 2 or 3 tasks out of the way that, little annoying things or whatever it is, but they're not hard to do. You can just get them out of the way. And I think that builds confidence. I like building momentum. I'm big on building momentum and putting yourself in a position to succeed, having confidence, little things. Doesn't cost a lot of time, and definitely doesn't cost a lot of effort, but it does give you a sense of accomplishment already. When you finish that, get up, stretch, take a little break, enjoy that victory, and then hit the hard thing. But you're going to hit the hard thing already knowing that you've accomplished something. So there's not a lot of pressure on it. I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I hope so. I hope so. Well, this is kind of like, rather than go into the big watercolor piece, come in and just take a little bit of time. Take a little bit of time, do a quick few sketches. That looks good. And, feel good, warm up, even if they don't turn out great. But at the very least, you've warmed up, you've built momentum, you're ready to go. Whatever challenge there is, you're ready for it. You're at least more ready for it. Let's just say you're more ready for it. Okay, we got an ad break coming in less than a minute, which I think is good. So what we'll do is during that ad break, we'll take a little break because I think we're done here. I'm happy with these. Haven't decided what our painting is going to be. It may just be what I did on Monday, but bigger. However, these are beautiful, really nice. I do think I want to, that would be a very nice painting, right? That would make a really nice painting, I think. Now we've got a problem. All of a sudden, we were set to go, and now we're like, oh, you know what? I think this would be better. But that's why we do these little exercises. Helps us make decisions. It helps us make decisions. Folks. All right, we have these two sketches right here. Let's see, right there. Right there. Boom, 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 boom. All right, folks. I believe in us. I believe in us. I don't have an eraser. Maybe that's a good thing. So this bird is hanging out. There's a rock in this area here, which is nice. Gives a nice vertical with the angle of the shoulders. I want to call that the shoulders, the neck. It'll be a nice angle. Some of the rock. It's right up, high up in the mountains. Very cool. Very, very fun. Very cool. Okay, let's figure out where we want our friend here. Have a nice, go straight across, draw all the way through, hitting the sides. I try to get a nice margin here, and I don't think I'm getting that right now. So let's correct that. That's why sometimes these scaffolding isn't such a great idea, in my opinion. Better just to work through the forms, get something pretty solid already. Combine the two, straight lines and gestural round forms, things like that. Those are all fair game. Lift this a little higher. Things are going good. Just finally have some time to check on my fellow artists. Thank you very much. It's busy. Very, very busy. Very busy. I cut down to 2 days for the month, and I think that might end up sticking. The work has become a little extra demanding, which is fine. It's good to have, as artists, we need all our sources of income, and that is a principal one of mine. I have another class, and I have 4 classes, 3 instructors that I assist, and a whole bunch of students. It's good to be employed, I guess, right? I think it's good to be employed. It's my opinion. But yeah, one thing is good. A lot of painting. It's a lot of painting going on. That's always awesome. These wings. I love this condor. I absolutely love so much character. Perfect for, I guess, Inktober, though I've never really done Inktober. But I do like prompts. This pesky thing called job that buys that other pesky thing called food and rent and expenses, electricity. Can we just go back to candles? What was the other? No, the lamps, right? We had few lamps before, didn't we? Or is that just like the fancy people? Is it just the fancy people that had those oil lamps? That seemed dangerous, though. I'd rather just have the wax candles. I mean, I guess they get expensive after a while, maybe. Constantly using the wax candles. Or we could just stop doing stuff when it gets dark. If it's dark, okay, it's dark. Time to go home. It's dark. No more work. But yeah, electricity is important. Hopefully people have their power restored in Southeast US, Southeast Florida in general. I think a lot of people lost their power. This latest hurricane. So my heart goes out to all of you, and hope you're safe and healthy out there. Lots of nice angles on this bird. I think we've got this worked out with the collar. I want to exaggerate that. Calling it a collar, it's not really a collar. It looks like a fur collar, but it's not really a collar. I'm going to call it big chest area. Bulging out. Has to have a huge, huge rib cage. This rib cage has to be huge to be able to lift and use those giant wings. There's no way it could pull it off. It's life without these wings. You carry big wings, you need a very large rib cage and chest muscles. That is just essential, very essential. I think I'm going to use a similar color palette as I did on Monday. Again, trying to make sure that I don't get too fiddly with the head. That kind of did me in. I did like how the feathers turned out. The wing feathers have a lot of energy. It doesn't need to be, unless you're going for uber realism, it doesn't really need to be exact. If you weren't here earlier, I did a nice sketch session, little warm-up session with ink I've never used before. Waterman. Windsor's the fountain pen company. Waterman Serenity Blue, which classically was known as Florida Blue, but for whatever reason, changed the name. But out of, in solidarity with our people who lost power in Florida, let's give it back the old name of Florida Blue. And it is a really nice ink. I can't believe I've been using fountain pens for years now, and I never tried Serenity Blue or anything from Waterman. I just thought they were like an old company that's kind of out of it. But that blue, just absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. A small painting, a small painting going. Let's see what we do. Time we have. Had to work out a few little details. Careful. Don't want to overdo this head. Just want some of the main structures. And then we're good. That nose, this hook nose, is a little more exaggerated. Not too much, but it is a little more exaggerated than what I had. Have that big, called like a mohawk collar now. Let's get these shadow shapes going. That's the biggest thing. Big shadow shapes. Shadow shapes and the highlight shapes. And we're going to make them pretty geometric. We're not going to try to go too detailed. We'll leave all that to our brush work to give it those organic shapes. Just divide up where we're going to have these midtones and the highlights, along with shifts in color, temperature. We're thinking about all that stuff while we're drawing. It's good to think about this while you're drawing a piece before hitting it with the watercolor. These legs are also really big. Pounce on their prey from high above and carry food to draw every single little nail. Should not do that. Should not draw every single nail. Just these right in front. Everything else, the general shape. One disappearing behind this rock. Then rock there. And there's other rocks back here we can indicate with, because it's on the mountainside where this thing is hanging. I might not even include that. Come back in here. Try to make a point of spending less time on the drawing, fiddling around with the drawing. Sometimes I feel like the more I fiddle around with the drawing, the less exciting and fun the painting turns out. That happens. That's why some instructors, some artists, teachers, they'll recommend to not even draw and go straight to using the brush so you don't fiddle around the way I am right now. I feel that the first couple of hours for me on a full illustration is fun, and then the rest is all just pushing through to finish. I know, right? I mean, there's something to be said for that, right? You do all the preparation, so when it comes down to doing, the actual painting part, you already have all the foundations down, and you could trust in what you did, and that you don't have to worry. That kind of makes sense. If that makes sense to you, you don't have to worry about anything. That edge of the wing, missing that. And then you get to that point, if you, sometime towards the end where you run out of gas and you start to hate the piece and you want to just stop. We got a lot going on there. I don't need to make this perfect and pretty. I don't want a perfect and pretty painting. Another rock back here. Trying to think of all this as notes. I'm taking notes. Taking some notes here. I couldn't find my eraser, so we're not using an eraser. Simple as that. Why am I not erasing? Can't find my eraser, which happens a lot. more than it should, but you know what? Sometimes it's good to not erase. I think it's good most of the time not to erase. Some of those lines add character to the piece, and then you lose it, and you have this kind of stiff looking thing, you know? Yep, there you go. So dark right there. This front. Don't fuss with it. Don't fuss with it. Okay, that's done. Okay, right there. Back of the leg again. We don't really care too much. It's a lot of great feathers going on here. You know, they're dark. Perfect. I don't like them getting this close to the edge here, but I think that's what we're gonna have to deal with. All right. I think we're good. I think we're good. We have this little mohawk thing here. Again, don't get too caught up with this. That's it. We have our drawing. The darks are the colors on the back are cold right up here. These whites are cold. But then right in here, there's a lot of warmth in that belly area right there. And I'm going to attack it that way. Cold, cold, and then there's a lot of warm here. And then we have our values. So we have whole front here. It's quite warm. There's some highlights here. The white feathers, what we say are white feathers, those are all in shadow, have a coldness to them, except back in here, there's some warmth. So most of the warmth is happening in here. A little bit back here, but all of this is cold. All of this is cold. So the entire set of the wings are cold. Right in here, and then starting this whole area here is warm. Colds in here, and then we'll build 2 warms. Let's do 2 colds and 1 warm. How about that? Maybe that's a good idea. 2 colds and 1 warm. And we want something vibrant on the first layer because as we build more opaque and deeper, I guess I would say less vibrant, but very saturated colors. We want those vibrant, that first vibrant layer, which is going to look very strange, but have it come through. And it'll give a nice variety to our piece. That is a goal, another goal. Okay, we have a marine blue. I don't think that's right. The cerulean blue could work. That turquoise, I do have, there's this core paint there, but I don't think I want that. Indigo, we're definitely going to be using indigo. Don't think I'm going to use sepia. I may use the Van Dyke brown, which I don't have a lot of, unfortunately. And, you know, I love that quinacridone gold. So let's go ahead and try a couple little combinations here. First, we'll do this quinacridone gold, and I want to see how this would react to, say, go with something, this burnt orange here, maybe. I think we tried this the other day. That's good for the warm. You can always use purple for the shadows, like really go high key, exaggerate, be kind of flamboyant, and then as you add, thicken the layers, those things will pull back. You see how that brushes up in there? It's kind of nice. Let's try another one. So we have our quin gold again. It's quinacridone gold. And then I'm going to go ahead and try have this gold. Actually, don't even know what that yellow is. What is this yellow? Did I put burnt sienna twice in here? It's very possible I put burnt sienna twice in there. That works, but it's a little dull. I have a quinacridone red. Ooh, or rose. Is that the rose? I think so. I think this is quinacridone red. I just mixed it up a little bit too much. Yeah, there we go. Got a little dirty. Clean it up. That's way too, it's way too much. That is way too much, everyone. But hey, whatever. Since we're here, sienna. So we're using the same color, quinacridone gold, and we're mixing it with a few colors to see what combination we like for the warm shadows, the base of the warm shadows. I'm going to use an orange here. This is an orange from, what orange is this? It's a good question. Gold, let's see. How do I not have this color? I didn't label them, of course. Of course I have to label them. Now, maybe that orange with another color would be kind of fun. I'm going to try that. Not that it would work. I think the burnt orange is really nice. Candy orange, however. Ooh, look at that. Deep. What would that go well with? Maybe let's try the Van Dyke brown. Or a, you know what? Let's try an opposing color. Let's try a turquoise. Very staining turquoise. Let's see what kind of brown it gives us. I tend to like the single pigments. I just use 1 to 2 colors at most. I don't like to really mix colors now lately. I don't know why. It's a little muddy. I mean, these 2 bright colors turn so muddy. Let's ignore. Let's do one more with this. These are all our warms. We're trying a whole bunch of different warm combinations. And then the other card will be are cold combinations. Let's use this is rose madder. Ooh, let's see how, next, there's not a big difference. It's like a warm to cold red. Yeah, that orange is not happening. I don't think this orange is happening. I'll try one more, but I don't think this is a good color to include here. I'm not feeling it at all. Come back in. Let's see. Try the burnt sienna. How that looks with it. They're both kind of orange. That orange is very staining. No, I don't like that. So we're gonna say no to that line. Say no. I say no. Now, this one, that is actually pretty interesting. Not exciting, but this here is interesting. That's the Queen Gold with burnt orange. I like that so far. And then we don't need yellow to be our, just because we're using, we say warm, doesn't have to be. I'm gonna try this green gold here. What happens if I do the green gold turquoise? It's got a lot of yellow in it. That's an interesting mix, right? Pretty interesting mix. It's a nice variety of green. I have to remember that for landscape. I have to remember that for landscape painting. Green gold and the turquoise. That is quite nice. That is quite nice. So, but I still consider that warm. Let's try this green gold again. Maybe we're on to something here. I need to restock on these pigments. Run out of already running out. Okay, let's try burnt sienna. Why not? It makes sense, right? It's not bad. I should try it again. Here, let's get some more of this green gold up here. Let it seep through. Kind of complementary colors, the burnt sienna and green gold. This is for the warm feathers. Let's go one more to show that this doesn't have to be warm, doesn't have to be yellow, really. And then there's an Indian yellow here. It's got some red to it. It might be interesting, kind of comparable. It's not blending as well. So I think I like this combination here. I love this combination. I think this is a little too wild, but folks, I'm going to remember this one for landscape painting. That's nice and soft. It's also nice and soft. And the Queen Gold would be nice too. That would be kind of nice too. The green gold, the burnt sienna, and the Queen Gold going one from the other as a transition of color. That might be interesting. And when I say this, I'm talking about the first layer. After that, it would be probably mixing in some indigo, some sepia or rose madder or something. Van Dyke brown, probably Van Dyke brown. All right, so these are our warms. We don't like this. This is kind of silly. We do like that burnt sienna with green gold, quinacridone. There's that burnt orange there. That's actually more of a cold color. So I'm going to try it in the cold. I'm going to try that one in the cold. All right, not bad, not bad. Nothing set in stone, just some thoughts. Okay, cold colors, cold colors. I'm seeing that French cerulean blue, which stains. It definitely stains. This French cerulean blue is very staining, but we're going to try. It's a very strong color. Let's do a couple of things. Do something pretty basic, something else that's staining. This is a gray. It's very opaque. What happens with the two of them? Nothing exciting. Nothing exciting. It's the sky meeting the rock. So happens here. Just doing blues right here for now. Grab our indigo. That's an easy solution. And sometimes you just gotta let the easy solution be the solution. Then we'll go and try anything. Try the same color, French cerulean. And now I'm gonna go and use a marine blue, which has a lot of green to it. What does that do? Something a little more dynamic than what looks like Payne's gray. Indigo is almost like a Payne's gray. It's the reason why I don't use Payne's gray anymore. It's too strong to water it down a lot. Indigo is pretty much the same color. Okay, the Van Dyke brown, which I think is that right there. Van Dyke brown. What is this? Van Dyke brown. Test of Van Dyke brown. That's a beautiful color. Somewhere between burnt sienna and sepia, and I think I really like Van Dyke brown now. It's got a red tint to it. Let's try. These are warms again. Let's try this burnt orange. This should be like two reds. Nothing interesting. Not a lot of contrast or variety in there, so we're going to leave that. We're not going to use that. Again, the Van Dyke brown. And let's try that quinacridone gold that we always love. Of course, I love it so much. That's not really a cold, right? Mix something else. Okay, I did that already. Why am I doing it again? That was a waste. It's a waste of swatching space. Let's try a Quin red, maybe. cold? Does that bright magenta? Actually, I think it's queen magenta for our cold. No. Nope. 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 Okay, let's go with the burnt orange. Core burnt orange. Ooh, look at that. It's so powerful. Dramatic color. Let's do. We got an ad coming soon. Let's try. Why not? Let's try the magenta here. Do that again. That's pretty beautiful. Let's see if Rose Madder does anything interesting. That's a good cold too. And then let's try something just out of the blue, literally. Marine. What happens when these two, they make it dark. They make it, can use as a cold. Okay. So we don't like, this is not useful at all. That is a given. Nothing really interesting there. Maybe for whites. That's a great cold. Deep cold colors. On the reddish side, deep cold colors, deep cold colors. These two interest me a lot. Those two interest me a lot. And then we have, of course, our pretty obvious colors. Those do not interest me. All right, let's organize this. Let's organize this now. Don't like that one. We do like these. This green gold with the burnt sienna. I think this is the only one I like, to be honest. This right here. These two right here. Right there. That green gold, burnt sienna, quinacridone gold. Those are the only two I really like. So what happens if we have this combination here? Green gold, burnt sienna, this burnt orange, or Van Dyke brown is also nice. The burnt orange with the rose madder, with this marine blue. That would be interesting to have these two touch and turn into our dark shadows and where those warms and colds meet. And then of course we have our colors that we're going to add later. The opaque, I would also say, we'll just do a quick, how about we do this with the green, that burnt orange, Van Dyke brown, that burnt orange, and we'll add the sepia to here right in the bottom. It's going to be our shadows, our warmer shadows, our darks there. It's a little boring. It's the same color. Okay, so I'm going to keep these close by, pin them right where I could see them, and that is what we're going to use to paint our Andean Condor. We have our swatches. Boom, boom. We decide on the ones that we like, the ones that we don't like. Right there. I think there's a little right here, right here. And we reserve the right to change our mind, right? We reserve the right to change our mind. I have everything set. We're just going to paint from here on. And who knows? Maybe we do another one. That'd be pretty fun, right? Let's go. Let's go. And keep these right here. Somewhere here. Maybe. Keep our friend down here. Not going to do any erasing. Not going to do any erasing at all. Just getting my stuff together right here. Get it together. Get it together. Get it together. Andean Condor. Super excited. I am so glad I picked this. This actually picked me. It's a lie. I didn't pick this. The Andean Condor. The Andean Condor to me. 100%. Went to the county zoo. They had some rescue condor there, which is really strange because I don't know how I feel about that. Even if they are a rescue, it's such a small space. I mean, you really need a lot of space for these guys. These birds need a lot of space. They need to be high up in the clouds, you know? They deserve to be high up in the clouds. Isn't that nice sound? This is the tape here, just right? Is that nice? I hope it's nice because I'm doing it right on top of the microphone. I hope it's nice. Let's see. Let's go and get a nice. See, this is too close. I don't like that. Ugh, I don't like that. It's right up against it. I'm going to end up having to erase that afterwards. All right. That's why I don't like to draw up to that border there. Too bad. I'm sure masking tape is good on watercolor paper versus artist tape. Never noticed the difference, but the smartest, I think it leaves like yellow on the paper or something. I've never noticed it. Maybe my eye wasn't good enough or something. Okay, we're going to keep our, right in here, we're going to keep our swatches in hand, right? We're going to keep our swatches in hand. We have, what do we have? We have these. These are our main ones that we want to use right there, right? And of course, it would be great if we remembered the colors, but of course, I did not write those things down. You would think I'm a little more organized than that, but unfortunately, no. I'm not that much more organized. All right, we're going to use that fluorescent orange is going to go by. We're going to use that burnt orange. We're going to use this green gold. We're going to use the French cerulean blue. We have our indigo, of course. Okay, Van Dyke, sepia, and we're going to go for it. The head, I just realized we need to come up with colors for the head. And the head, I'm not going to get to, you said lavender or something. Doesn't matter. I'm not that concerned about it. It could be, use like a light blue and maybe the magenta to have it pop a little bit, but very little. I'll even leave that to the end. I'm not going to bother too much. We're going to flatten out with some opaques, and that'll be that. It's not that exciting a part of our piece. Probably wanted to erase some of this in here. Do I have an eraser? Do I have an eraser? I don't, but we could erase it later. Preserve that white. I'm going to preserve these whites to make sure we do that as much as we can. As much as we can. It's not going to be pure white. So in here, maybe that green gold could fall down and we could convert it to a blue. I think that green gold is going to play a big part in our piece here. I think it's going to play a big part in our piece. We have, let's see, start this area here. We said warm, warm, cold. I shouldn't have done that, but I did. Let's see what else. Warm, cold, cold, warm, deep. We're just mixing colors. So let's just mix the color. We have our green gold here. Next thing you can see it over here. It's a big player in our major character in our piece. So it can go warm, it could go cold, green gold, this side, and our good puddle going, and our cerulean blue on the other. Also want to get in that entire background too. Do want to get that background in too. And that background, nothing in particular that I want to do with it. Don't really have any solid ideas for it. May use some grays, some opaque colors mixed in with I don't know, with the turquoise or something like that. Big puddle, big area. We're going to use this a lot. We need a lot of it. We need a lot of it. Most of these streams, these videos, they end up, when I look at the video afterwards, half of it is me mixing. Half the time I'm mixing. I feel like I'm mixing or I'm talking on camera. Very little actual painting and drawing gets done in this live stream. That's okay. I've seen some art streams where they're just like, there's a lot of explosions and musical numbers and stuff like that. It's got some of this purple in here. Purple would be good for magenta, might be interesting, but I'm not going to touch it. Nope, nope, nope. Not going to go there. Where are our brushes in this hand? In this hand, where's this one? And then other main color that we're using is our cerulean blue, our French cerulean blue. And that's a staining color. That green gold is a little more, it's definitely a little more transparent. This is not transparent. It's mixed in a little bit with, I think that green gold is okay. And as we move along, we'll mix in the darker colors into those green gold and the cerulean blue. And then up there, I like that burnt orange, remember? Remember that burnt orange? And then I am running out of, but you really don't need them here. This wets really well. Burnt orange over here. And we'll use these as our three main colors for now. All right? Dark, cold, warm. I almost want to say the cerulean blue, the French cerulean blue is a neutral. Nice big areas of water. Interesting. We don't know how it's going to turn out. That's no idea how this is going to turn out, right? None whatsoever. No idea at all. I have no idea what's going to happen now. No clue whatsoever. Now I want to go here. We want still deciding, everyone. What's wrong with me? What is wrong with me? Let's get our big brush. This is what we want anyway, right? I'm going to go here. It goes out. Outside, that's okay. Mix it in here. Here we go. Right there on that front side. Then I'm going to give a little bit. And that's it for the face. Careful with that white. I just went right through it. So I'm going to grab. No big deal. It's okay if it's a little blue. It's not going to be an absolute white. Remember that. Especially back here. Especially back there. In fact, down there. Now go ahead. And then we have our quaint. No such thing as absolute. I have to remember that and not freak out. Head right through this whole area here. Green gold. It looks so bright on screen. That looks so bright on screen. Right. Looks like a map or something, right? Kind of is. I try to think of it as like heat maps. I'm going to take a clean brush. Again, no absolute white. And then I'm going to let this dry while I mix the other colors. I'm going to let this all bleed actually down onto the stones. All right. exactly what I wanted to do, but should get a nice, hopefully at least, variety of colors. That will show through. We have some white here. Be careful that some of these staining colors, they will not lift. That we are just about set our next layer. So now I'm going to mix in. We'll mix our, make it more opaque and darker. Try to stick with the big brush too. That would be this thing. Be really nice to do that. Next, add it to be thick. That's good. Not too dark, but definitely thicker. Right in there. Gray blue that's coming in there. And then for our burnt orange, we did like that. I think we're gonna leave that, is my idea. We'll leave all those burnt orange areas and not mix that. For like a sepia here and there, we might do. That's, I think, not totally dark, but it's more important for it to be thick than dark. The areas that these two touch will get a black. That's the idea. And when you add more water, things start to explode, right? You may not want them to explode. So we're going to do some deeper dark shadows. One is going to be right in here, okay? Hang out. And we're going to alternate there, soft these two. Sure there's not so much water. But blue to that blue. These two should combine. Grab that brush. It should not be wet. It should be damp, but not. I want to paint over things, you know, or not to do that. We have, let's keep going down since we're here. That's pretty much covered. Our blue. Just go back and this whole area should be. Make some nice uneven marks there. I think I wanted that. Some live looking marks here. A little more action going. A little transition. Do the same here. A little bit. Not perfect, right? Remember, not there. Okay. Deep breath, everyone. Let's take a deep breath. Go ahead and let's get this. Alternate again. It's going to go right along. It should not be even at all. The smaller brush. Too much water. These bleed and blend into each other. That roughness of the feathers. And hopefully you could see that these, well, you know, we still don't have that color that you would expect. Starting to see that opacity. You could see that where we're going. Hopefully. Not what I wanted, but that is the crab. Same brush. I'm gonna soften this one if it'll let me. It'll allow me. A little border there. I want to be a little graphic with this. All right. Next. What's next? Blue. Oh, I mixed. Weeds just bled thing. Didn't want that really, but I'm gonna live with it. I think it's okay. Same cold color. So I'm gonna wipe this there. Our tail right there. There is shadow here, shadow right in here, and the bleed. Let's see what it does. Give us a dark. Now, these two over here, really careful. We want some lines. We don't want to, again, don't want to draw every feather. And the idea is that you only touch the areas where there's a turn, where a section kind of turns through. Don't like that, but you know, it looks very dark, but what I'll do is I want to see if I can correct this. Let's remove a little bit. If I can pull it, keeps wanting to pop back up. And I'm going to use that and have it be shadow. Now here, this is more important. I can go, nope, not what I wanted. Right there, and see if I pull a little more off that. And that cerulean blue is stains quite a bit. I don't not like it, but and these have to bleed together, right? The shadow that has to happen here, right in there. Fine. Okay, that's a decent second layer. I am going to take a little bit of this green gold and we'll mix it with, actually we're not going to mix it with anything. I think I mentioned the burnt sienna. Use that for a more opaque mix here for our, what am I going to do that with here? Anything here. Just try not to make it distracting. Mix here and there. That should be it. And go ahead and take some mix over here. Cliffside there. Stone. Stone's not that important. Don't want to spend time on it. Going. Now that I'm here, may as well. And that's it. Don't worry too much more about it. It's a rock, people. It's a rock. I know. Rock, paper, water. We should be worried about rocks, but we're not. a little bit of indigo, and I'm going to do the drop shadow here. Leave that there. And that's it. Probably far with that. Work on the head. And this may be the only layer I work on the head. Maybe. Let's see. We have this. Definitely like an indigo marine. There's blue right here. It's one. And add break in a little bit. And I keep on working. Actually, let's snooze it. See if I can finish the head while we're snoozing. Add break. Be a little rough here too. There. Here. There. I'll just get a brush, soften it, and add. Go right here. There's a little too much. We went a little too far there. A little more. That's there. And we'll use this blue. Fine. That white a little better. Okay. Let's try it a little more. This pull more out of here. Then what I'm going to do is this magenta, mix it with white, maybe even, and need to dirty it up with another grab. There we go. That actually bled nice. Now we got to rescue this a little bit. I mean rescue. It's just mixing in a few things here. This area here, this is a little more going on there. Again, remember I said I wasn't going to do too much with this thing here, so let's not do too much, right? Let's be smart about this. If we're going to be smart about this, we need to lift up a little more. I say lift, take a dry brush to the wet and pull some of that pigment out. Just shape things out a little bit better. White drop in, white drop in. Just a little bit here and there, right there. Let's blend it all. Take this just to blend to one big unit. This whole spot. All drop in some of the whites here. White go here. It's gonna bleed. This is risky. This is where I messed up on Friday. Excuse me, on Monday. Our last time together. It's pretty interesting looking. Let's go and see. There it is. Very, very wet. Get this to look like skin is quite a challenge. Find this eye. Have the ear hole. We have too much here. There. And that's actually not so bad. I do want to define this area a little. Hey, TJ Might, how are you? How are you doing on this Friday? Hope all is good, all is well. You're safe, healthy, and happy. What do you have going this Friday, this weekend? What are your plans? What are your hopes? What are your dreams? What do we got going on? We went a little too far on our friend here, but had our little thing. We're touch and go with this. I'm okay with where we are so far. I'm just going to. This head is very difficult because it's not feathers, it's skin. Trying really, really hard not to botch it up, but we can leave it as is. What have you been up to, my friend? Definitely want this area to be darker. Up and down day to day, mainly because of procrastinating. It's Friday. There's no getting around that procrastinating. Don't beat yourself up about that. Procrastinating, yeah. That gets everybody. Procrastinating gets for sure. And if I did this right, it might just stay like a little too, I don't know. I don't even know what to call it. There's going to be a darker dark, and then I think that's all we can do. Okay, let's see if that works. Let's bleed these out a little bit. Don't mind me. I'm lost. I'm a little, not lost, but you know, I'm lost in this thought here. I leave that alone. Let it do whatever it's going to do, and I'll come back to it. Back to this. I'm going to come back to it because I don't want to go a little too far. You know what I mean? And I'm still fussing with it. What am I doing? What am I doing, friends? I got my hands on for a model with the game rig from the game Zelda, and I'm just converting the game's rig into an animation standard rig now. What? You have to explain that to me. Never done it before, but I figured out how once I thought it through. Okay, you need to I need to understand this because this sounds awesome. Shape there. This here, and then again, this like rubbery look to it. We lost a little bit of the pink there, but I have to live with it. It's gonna have to live. Don't there. So this is an animation rig that they used in the Zelda games, because that is awesome, my friend. And I definitely want to learn more. Getting bleed. Let's bleed. There might be some. I don't want to do gouache, but I may have to. All right, let's leave that. Let's leave it. Done for. That sounds awesome. So I'm going to read this again. Rigging a character, and I got a hands on a Pura model. All right, I don't know what a Pura model is. Games rig from the game Zelda. I should know this, right? Because I like Zelda. But that is phenomenal. That's pretty phenomenal. That is phenomenal, my friend. And it turns out, I'm sure it's going to turn out awesome. Some little whites in here that I want to get rid of. All right, we're in the home stretch. What does the home stretch involve? What's involved in home stretch? I am asking you, what is involved in the home stretch? What do you think? What do we do now? Burnt orange and sepia mixing with the indigo, but it's mostly indigo. Just going to grab a small brush. Going to some orange, just to let it bleed. Get rid of those hard edges. Same thing over here and here. Take the major shapes. That's the main thing. Get those major shapes. Make things a little more organic. And now is when we have this, what we would call black, right? Keep working down. Keep working down. Mixture here. Let's get a smaller brush. Grab a smaller brush and blend it a little bit. In here. Right in here. Same thing here. Lift it a little bit here and there. This I don't like that. Grab here and that nice and smooth. There, nice and smooth. One big block. Working our way down here, right here. Let's do something here actually. This little risk here. Grab and give that whole edge some texture. Okay. Have this whole white area here, right? And this whole white area here. What I'm going to do is grab this brush. We'll smooth it out or just soften it on one side. Just give it that texture on the other. It's not what I need. Come in. Work the whole area here. Again, a little bit of light there. Same thing over here. Don't want to cover all that, those beautiful colors that we created. That would be an absolute shame. There. All right, so far that's okay. I'm going to keep moving down because what's worrying me is this entire area here. Just a little bit. It's worrying me a little bit. This is almost all black. And there's always something. Entire area here wants to be in black. At that. There we go. It's dark right here. There we go. I don't know if I like it as much as what I was doing on Monday in terms of the feathers, but it's good. No, I could do this painting 5 times, 10 times, and those 10 times, every single one of those 10 times will be different. Every single one. It's just that. We have a thing here, and this is where one of those places you veer off from what was happening in the actual reference, right? You need to just soften. This is a condor, yes. This is a condor. Oh my goodness. Thankfully, it looks like a condor. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. I mean, I take my creative liberty, but I used to have this thing, I still do, that if folks came in and they're like, hey, is that, if you came in here and you said, is that a cardinal? Like, absolutely it is. That's great. Fantastic. It is a cardinal. Of course it's a cardinal. Is that a golden finch? Yes, it is a golden finch. You are correct. You are correct. That is a goldfinch. Is it a It's a buffalo. You guessed again. Oh my goodness. That's exactly what it is. We started out drawing a buffalo. We started off drawing a buffalo. This is very flat in here, right? We need to do something about that. Need to do something about that. This flatness here. We need to, again, maybe it does need to be darker. I don't know. This has to be darker. And that definitely needs to, let's just go off the page. I love that you put that in like huge three question marks. Yes, it's a condor. It's a condor that we need to, there. The head needs a little TLC there. I missed a lot of, I don't like how this turned out over here. The collar, this area here. Watch that there. This is, well, it's based off the Andean Condor. Break this up a little bit here and there. And we need a nice weir to lift some of that. That's a little too much, even though it's correct in terms of being lifelike and all that. It's not what I wanted. There, that's better. Did not like it. That is, okay. This is fun. All right, so now debating whether I go back to that head and what do I do with it? And what do I do with this head? Let's try me, the bane of my existence, painting the head. Painting this, again, it's dark. I am eerily quiet because this is fine. Very strange bird, man. Folks, this is a very strange look. When you're doing the These birds that are all skin, very tough. All right, let's soften these just a little bit. Try it quickly. Chad bird pose, elder warrior bird pose. That, I think. Maybe we'll do some markings. A little bit. I'll try and do some markings here. Right here. Careful. Don't do that. Where's that? Almost there. Looks like we'll break this up here. Break that up. Let's get around that. Let's get around the beak there. Need to separate this beak. Not separating enough. See. There we go. Separate a little bit. And then what I'll do is grab some water and soften this whole. We're gonna get the crown next. Soften that whole thing there. The crown there. Different than most of the paintings I've done, but interesting. Let's get a little bit of what I want to do. I know what I want to do. Lavender color. It's not one down here. It's one. The lavender, then the orange. Say bigger one. Dropping randomly some areas there. Get some texture here and there. Saddle it. Let's indicate a little bit of the mountain faded in here. I've been using my snooze. I reserve to use my snooze. Let's see. A really deep, dark black. More. There we go. That's a good. There we go. All right. The head is better than I had on the other day, but it's still not. Is it great? No. Some local color there. Local color there. And then our friend here. Let's see. Is the rock? Don't know. I should add any more contrast there. Go over here. Feel like adding a little more. No, I'm not going to touch it. I was going to touch it, but I'm not going to touch it. Do I dare? Shoulder there. All right, that was a little scary. It's a little scary. I think it works. Add that black and just add it right. There we go. And see how that's bleeding down? Oh, that is good. I like that touch. Okay, no more there. Maybe here we go. Just a couple touches there. All right, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. It was different. It's not exactly what I thought it was going to be. It never is. Do I love it? I don't know. You know what? I'm not sure. I'm intrigued by it. I think it's interesting. Let's see how this tape. Moment of truth. The moment of truth. 90-degree angle, everyone. Pull it at a 90-degree angle. Down here, 90-degree angle. This different than things I've done before. It's always a little different. It's a little different. I just decided to do that blue at the last second, and I think it helped it. What's satisfying? The tape is satisfying, right? I think the tape is satisfying. The tape's the most satisfying part. All right, we have a right here. There you go. Okay, it goes right there. Last one. 90-degree angle to the edge. Hold a little bit. Hold a little bit off, but there we go. There we go. Interesting. Not what I expected to do. Could even do some of these over here. Using your nail can be very satisfying. Give a little bit of that roughness over there, right? Interesting. Right? Interesting. That's all I could think. I'm very interested in how this came out. I would like to do it again and again. What if we did a little drawing, a little postcard to finish up? I'm going to set this right here for folks that come on in and hang out. But yeah, the head is so bizarre. It's a bizarre head. It's really tough. It's really tough to go from feathers to like rubbery skin. Not an excuse. It's not an excuse. It's an observation. It's not an excuse. It's an observation, everyone. Same paper, but we're using a Pilot Custom Heritage 92, and we're using that with J. Herbin Pearl Noir ink. Very nice black ink. It's good for writing, but it's also quite nice for drawing. Don't think it doesn't have much of a tint to it, which is nice. It has a pretty neutral tint. Not using, find my watercolor pencils. Yep, we're going out without the water. Just going to use a black wing pencil. Ink wash. Same brushes. I don't know if it's medium. This is going to be a number 10 brush, though. That's a good size. That is a good size. All right, don't touch the wet paint. Spirals to get that volume. This head is really tucked into that fur collar. It's not a fur collar. It is feathers, but it does look like a fur collar. We have these feathers from the wings, the edge of the feathers that are coming up. One set, two sets, nice jagged feather and shadow shapes, keeping it loose. This is a sketch, right? This is a sketch. One nice pass, one nice pass. This weird looking, this head. And we got to think about where we're going to rate out today. It's Friday. Somebody's got to be doing something, right? Somebody's got to be doing something this Friday. It's got this smile. Really creepy. Go right there. Go to the eyes. All this like feathers and fuzz that's going on here. Have all these wrinkles. This thing looks, it's so bizarre. Yeah, there, there. We have this nice area here. Really interesting. Just absolutely fascinated by this bird. I am absolutely fascinated by this bird. I'm gonna leave the pencil there for the wall. Eye is almost back here. And you know I don't like drawing eyes. Just don't. I don't. This is drawing a little shape a little differently. Bizarre looking creature. You are just such a bizarre looking creature, my friend. I know. There's no, I want to tell you, no judgments and anything, but you really are a bizarre looking creature. You're amazing. When I say bizarre, I mean it in a good way. You are just like amazing, my friend. You really are. It has been very, very fun studying you these past days. It really has. Go right there. Made that a little too exaggerated, but no big deal. No big deal whatsoever. There we go. There's a big shape here. Really have to keep, there's lines, but you have to keep going with the shapes. Don't get too distracted with all these. I mean, they're cool looking, but you gotta focus. We gotta focus, everyone. Oof. Wow. Super. Right, do like these little details right at the edges. More expressive, these lines. This pencil feels so good on this hot press paper. So very good on this hot press paper. We have a little bit of white coming here. This entire area is in shadow. We're going to do this whole area in shadow. What do you think? I think it's a good idea. I think it's a fantastic idea, personally. I think this eye is a little bigger, believe it or not. Well, I know you believe it. You probably know it all along. I appreciate that you let me figure this out on my own, because this eye is definitely bigger. Much bigger eye. Here we're going here. Do we grab, let's make this correction. And now I'm using the eraser from the pencil. How bizarre, right? How really strange to do that. Feels like a big no-no, right? But it's a good eraser. And you just have to go same direction. Don't rub. I think I have. Do I not have my sweeper thing? My brush? I don't see my brush anywhere. Use my hand. Tissue is good too. Like a facial tissue. Those are good too for this. And there's a color right here. This weird looking bird, man. Weird looking bird in the best way possible. All right, we're getting somewhere. Getting somewhere. Don't like this. I want to exaggerate that even a little more, right? I feel like I should exaggerate a little more. There. I think we've got a lot going on for us. We've got enough that I can go now with the pen and start. And what I'll do is nice and lightly here and lightly over here. That flap that it has folds over in a very interesting way. And then there's a big deep shadow goes right. Phantom Pine Cone. It is a Pilot Custom Heritage 92 fine medium nib, which I guess Western, I've never really tried it, but Western wise, it is a fine. So it'd be like if I grab my Lamy Safari, probably get the same line thickness. It's really good dark. That's important right there. It's an important dark. Go there. And this is where you don't trace. Use what you had, but use what you had as a guide. And right about now, I'm going to use our, there we go, established there. Go here, right, pull that whole thing there. And let this all bleed out. Yeah, for drawing, this is one of my favorite pens to use. Definitely is one of my favorite pens to use. This Pelican M200, they're pretty similar. I think it's almost just preference, but they're pretty similar. I know some people will be like, what? How dare you? They're completely different. They are a little different, but not that different. Not that different. I keep going. Bleed. Exaggerating this quite a bit. It's not that big, but it's my drawing, so I'm going to do it that. Looks like a smile. It's very strange. You see that? That's perfect. Right there. What happened there? That is perfect. Love that. Love that. See that? Perfect. This doesn't dry quickly, so there's a lot of even though we are using a hot press paper, it is quite forgiving. This paper, the ink doesn't dry as quickly as the example of the watercolor, which is amazing. And if you're asking, yeah, I might not erase the pencil. I like the way it looks with it. It's a sketch, but a very fun looking sketch to me. To me, it's a sketch. Maybe we'll add a little spotlight of watercolor around it. That might be fun. Let's see how far we can get here. So here, these are awesome, these shapes. A few more. Whole area, super cool. We have a whole area here, except for one little sliver is dark. It's right in there. Let's see. This, I'm not following any reference. This is just me doing whatever I want. Doing whatever I want. I'm drawing my sketch. As long as it's got the feel of what it's supposed to be. This awesome looking friend of ours, this Condor friend here. Let's get this whole thing. I'm gonna go all dark there. And then right there, definitely. Right? Now here, no, I don't think I'm going to erase. I think I'm going to erase the pencil mark. I think it looks good. It looks good that way. It's got a layer there. Get this going. Now hatch in there, right there. Maybe that wasn't exactly what I wanted. That's okay. That's it. And this is still wet here, which is really to our advantage. Just go along that contour. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep boxing in the shape of the eye. So we have the whole thing nice and worked out. So bizarre. This thing is so awesome looking. It is awesome looking. Don't draw. Be trying not to do any kind of like circle motions or anything like that. Do some hatching right across. Good way. Don't have to draw the pupil. Pretty much set like that there. Now let this bleed that out there. Those watermarks give it some texture. Right at that rim there. That's the eye. Pretty much done. Get another ring there around that eye. Get some definition, more definition. We already have. And then how are we going to deal with this? Just do a lot of dry brushing without any, just like that. And that'll give us a little bit of tone. So we know it's white. Should have the ink right next to me, but I don't. Do have some, let's see, some drawing. I have a little bit of drawing ink. So maybe we'll use a little drawing to bring in those more of those black areas. I'll use a smaller brush, bit of like a pen. Use it like a pen. This is a Japanese brand. Probably know it. Yasumoto Sumi ink. Ooh, be careful. Look at that. Ooh. Do not open that over your drawing. It's not a good idea. Okay. Here is totally black, right? It's okay to do a little bit of rough texture because they're all just supposed to be feathers. That is a bad idea. And yet I left it. Ha ha! That would have been awful. Wow. Terrible, terrible move. All right, I'm going to keep this in my hand. Did you see that? See if we can get some kind of handle on this. Spills just add texture. It's true. They do. It adds character. So I'm told. A little cheat we're doing here. Doing the cheating. All right. So easy to add some nice textures. And then you can refine it with the pen, or what I'm going to do is here we go. Just added some water to get those blacks. Get this like a little right here and there. Right here and there. There we go. Going around. As much as I would love to hatch this whole thing out with all of you, the clock is ticking. So this Pearl Noir and Sumi ink are not that different color-wise. I don't know if I like that. All right, that's good. And that's good. Get that little hole there. Good. There. Again. And we have some more here. Black that I had. All right, how are we looking, folks? Need to get a little more. Let's see. Add a little bit more room here. Yeah, I like that. And with the pencil, I think it looks pretty good. There is some line here that I didn't capture. Boom. Okay. See. There we go. That is what was missing, I think. A little more contrast on that head. One of these days, I'm going to try ink wash. I love the effect. You should absolutely try it. Not one of these days. Try it this weekend. Why not? Why not? I mean, you don't need fountain pen ink. You could do that with just go if you have an art supply stores or even like craft store. If you have one, absolutely you should try it. It's so much fun and it's really good, I think. It's a great tool, ink wash, to learn about drawing and painting at the same time. It's just amazing. I love it. I've grown so much from this, from working like this with pen and ink and ink wash. Really botching this thing. Ooh, ruining this brush. I'm ruining this brush, everyone. Should absolutely, I highly recommend trying your hand at it. Get a little bit more right in here. Absolutely. 100%. You should try it. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. Let's get this friend here. You have no excuses. You have no excuses. That's right. You have no excuses. Let's get a little bit more of this detail here. Solid black is need. There we go. Bring that shape there. I'm gonna grab some water. All right. It's not on the Inktober prompt, I guess, but it is pretty inky. A little too. I feel like it's a little too high contrast there. Let's use some hatching to soften it out, right? I want to say. Oh my goodness. All right. I'm going to tell you right now, this doesn't close. I'm going to throw this out because this is going to cause, quite honestly, it is going to cause some kind of accident. I'm going to tell you that right now. And, that would make me sad. Let's see, what else do we have? That's good. Pretty sketchy in the good way, not the sketchy like Sketchy Alley or Sketchy Artist. Good sketchy. The good sketchy kind. It's then I'm gonna leave as it is. Kind of like here I'll do some work. But here, all right, that's stark white. And then, all right, pick a color, everyone. Should we leave it as is? Should we put some gray around it? Or maybe, I don't know, a burnt reddish, dark reddish orange rust color or a yellow. What do you think? Or just gray? Should we just do a gray tone? A very, very ho hum gray tone. What do you think? Speak now. It's actually against the black in the image. Let's do. Go ahead. This is not that gray. Where is? Here we go. This is also not that. Just water. Just water. Need a little bit of tone here. Need a little bit of tone here. And I'm going to snooze that. I'm going to snooze. All right. No one's saying anything, so we're going to do just the color gray. Fine. Super boring, but we need a tone. We need a tone to pop that. We need a tone to pop that, especially I know exactly what we're going to do. Where's that brush I just had? Where is it? There's a lot of particles in this. Oh, that's going to go by. I'm getting rid of this bottle as soon as it's done. Well, we put it to good use. Its final life purpose, we put it to good use. Okay. And what I'll do is grab particles. This is gross. All right. A little effect going. And then this down here, we'll leave it out. Grab a little bit more of this ink. There we go. All right. That's fun. That was fun. All right, folks. It's that time. Add some water effects. What it does is it opens up those dark spots, just clean water, and it does this cool thing. It's a little different than a splatter effect. And that's about it, everyone. I really appreciate your time, and we'll do it again.